So I got to thinking recently, and whenever that happens, it usually means I'm staring at the smoking crater that used to be the entertainment industry and asking how the hell we got here. Because for years now, people have been pointing at woke, DEI, ESG, politics, identity wars, activist writing rooms, and all the other buzzwords that get thrown around every time another franchise detonates itself publicly. And sure, those things absolutely played a role in the collapse. You don't spend a decade lecturing your audience, rewriting established characters, and treating paying customers like ideological enemies without consequences eventually arriving. But honestly, I think there's a bigger issue underneath all of it. Something cultural that started long before the current Hollywood meltdown. The real problem is that the illusion died.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
For decades, celebrities existed in a kind of manufactured Olympus. Movie stars weren't just actors, they were myths. Carefully constructed personalities wrapped in glamour, mystery, and distance.
Helen, I came for you.
You didn't know what they ate for breakfast. You didn't know their political takes every 30 seconds. You didn't know who they were arguing with online at 2 in the morning while sitting in a mansion worth more than your entire street. You saw them on giant cinema screens, under perfect lighting, delivering rehearsed performances surrounded by orchestral music and larger-than-life storytelling. The industry built them into gods because distance creates mystique, and mystique creates aspiration, and audiences bought into it completely. There was a time when seeing a major actor outside of a film felt rare. Interviews were controlled, public appearances were managed. Even scandals had a strange aura around them because information traveled slowly and publicists worked overtime to preserve the illusion. Studios understood something modern entertainment forgot. Stars worked best when audiences projected things onto them. The less people knew, the larger these figures became in the public imagination. Then the internet arrived and smashed the temple walls down with a sledgehammer. Welcome to the Snake Pit, where we're full of bile and venom. I'm your host, Snake Dæmon, and today we're looking at how Hollywood accidentally destroyed its own gods and turned celebrities from untouchable icons into permanently online punchlines. Because whether people want to admit it or not, social media fundamentally broke celebrity culture. Before 2010, actors still largely existed behind layers of protection. Publicists filtered interviews. Studios managed appearances. Journalists needed access, so even criticism was often softened to maintain relationships. Celebrities felt distant, polished, aspirational. You saw them in films, on magazine covers, at award shows, and occasionally on television. They occupied another world entirely. That separation mattered because audiences filled the gaps themselves. If an actor seemed intelligent, sophisticated, or charismatic on screen, people assumed they probably were in real life too. The fantasy stayed intact because there wasn't constant access to the reality behind it. Then came the direct access era. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, later TikTok. Suddenly celebrities no longer needed gatekeepers. At first it looked revolutionary. Actors could connect with fans directly. No journalists, no studio filters, no PR middlemen. Audiences loved it initially because it felt authentic. The problem is authenticity cuts both ways. Very quickly, the mystique evaporated.
Surprise, Sydney.
People realized that being good at pretending to be someone else for a living does not automatically make somebody informed, wise, emotionally intelligent, or remotely qualified to lecture millions of people about economics, politics, medicine, morality, or world affairs. Actors who once looked almost superhuman on cinema screens were suddenly posting half-formed opinions online between selfies and luxury holiday photos. The distance vanished, and with it went the illusion. And this is where we arrive at what I call the Joey Tribbiani effect. The more access audiences get to celebrities, the harder it becomes to take them seriously outside their performances. Overexposure transformed stars into content creators constantly feeding algorithms. Instead of rare appearances, we now get endless streams of opinions, activism, emotional breakdowns, vanity projects, humble brags, political lectures, and painfully out-of-touch attempts at relatability. That's catastrophic for maintaining status. You used to go to the cinema and see larger-than-life icons battling aliens, saving the world, surviving impossible odds, or delivering unforgettable performances. Now, you open your phone and see those same people crying because somebody criticized their mansion. Arguing with random users online, or uploading videos telling struggling working-class audiences how difficult lockdown was from their swimming pool. And once audiences stop aspiring to celebrities, ridicule replaces admiration incredibly quickly. That's the shift Hollywood never recovered from. The internet doesn't preserve mystique. It destroys it through familiarity. Familiarity breeds contempt because eventually people stop seeing celebrities as exceptional and start seeing them as privileged, disconnected people demanding admiration while living in a completely different reality from everyone else. And social media amplified that disconnect brutally. When millionaire actors lecture ordinary people about morality, sacrifice, environmentalism, or economics while flying around in private jets and living behind security gates, the hypocrisy becomes impossible to ignore. In previous decades, that contradiction stayed hidden behind PR teams and magazine shoots. Now, it's broadcast in real time every single day. Worse still for Hollywood, the rise of internet culture created an environment perfectly designed to dismantle celebrity worship. Modern online culture thrives on sarcasm, memes, mockery, and public humiliation. Nobody is untouchable online. The same internet that can turn somebody into a celebrity overnight can turn them into a joke 10 minutes later. Actors who once controlled their public image now get roasted by millions of people instantly for every awkward interview, tone-deaf statement, staged publicity stunt, or narcissistic social media post. The pedestal collapsed because the crowd finally got close enough to inspect what was standing on it. And ironically, Hollywood helped accelerate the process. Studios started pushing actors as activists, moral authorities, and political commentators instead of simply entertainers. That might sound good in corporate meetings, but it creates a huge problem once audiences fundamentally disagree with those opinions, or simply don't want lectures attached to escapist entertainment. People don't mind actors acting. What increasingly irritates audiences is actors trying to position themselves as moral educators while existing inside one of the wealthiest and most insulated industries on Earth. And once that resentment sets in, it bleeds directly into the entertainment itself. That's why modern celebrity culture feels so different now. The old aspiration is gone. The glamour is fading. The mystique is dead.
Bobo was just giving you a little test to see what kind of smarts you had, honey, and I'm afraid you didn't do very well.
Stars no longer feel larger than life because audiences now see every insecure, narcissistic, uninformed, emotionally reactive part of them in real time 24 hours a day. Hollywood didn't just lose audience trust through bad films and political messaging. It accidentally revealed the machinery behind the curtain.
All the sex and violence on the screen has gone too far for me. I'm fed up with it. Filmmakers like George Romero and John Carpenter have to show some restraint. They're simply...
And once people stop believing in the gods, the entire temple starts collapsing around them. That's why modern entertainment feels so unstable. The audience relationship changed permanently. The industry still wants worship, authority, and cultural influence, but social media exposed too much for the illusion to survive intact. Celebrities became ordinary people with extraordinary wealth, instead of extraordinary people living beyond reach. And ordinary people can absolutely be mocked, especially when they won't stop talking. Thanks for dropping by the Snake Pit, where we thrive on bile, venom, and watching collapsing industries live stream their own destruction. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell, like the video, and leave your opinions in the comments, where naturally, I won't read them. Until next time, stay venomous.